Every day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling their side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Moorish. And poor rich kids get their money on phone it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah. We got the good. Good of them assets, good of my bag. Get rid of cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a blast from the past. We gonna smash now. Be prepared to hit the gas, yeah.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, yeah, we travel.
Try.
Blood eye, yeah, we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, yeah, we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah. Sherry no Haka from Virginia, yeah.
I know I'm more because I'm blessed. I know I'm more. I passed the test.
We got to see with the true eyes. We need some brand new bright ideas. We got the hearts and some great minds, yeah. If we could all just be sincere.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, yeah, we travel.
Try.
Blood eye, yeah, we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, yeah, we travel. Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, yeah, we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah.
Peace to the party. It's your homeboy back again with the news. So, got a good show for y'all today. We're going to take it over to El Negro Part 2, the Roman edition. But first, we got to take it out to California. Because a while back, I covered when the reparations bill out in California, while it was developing, when it got shot down, we talked about it all. So, it's only right that I do my due diligence because there's an update, right? There's an update in California. Me personally, I think it's because Newsom want to make a run for president. And so he want to, get his name and some good publicity out there in California. So hey, shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Let's get to it though. So let's go to California. Let's play what the news say. Then we gonna do what we do over here. So let me get it pulled up. Hold on.
Create a reparations bureau in the state's civil rights department, a system for determining who's eligible and other financial supports. Cheryl Grills is a member of the state's reparations task force.
We uncovered so much that it led to an 1,100-page report with 115 recommendations for repair.
After that report, Governor Gavin Newsom formally apologized for California's role in slavery and racism. Grills says the public's trust is now at stake. If he vetoes these bills,
it would smack of dishonesty, right? Because on one hand, you're saying, yes, something happened and we need to understand it to its fullest extent, and then we need to address it. And so you say that on one hand, and so then when we point out everything and then nothing is done, how can I trust you? How can I trust government?
The legislature estimated it could cost anywhere from tens to hundreds of millions of dollars to create and run the Reparations Bureau, at a time when California is running a budget deficit in the billions. To people who say the state can't afford it, Grills says,
if not now, when? We're going to always have budget challenges. And thank God no one said that when they were trying to advance ending enslavement.
She says if the governor vetoes the bills,
we're going to keep at it. You know, like that Energizing battery commercial from back in the day? We're going to keep going and going and going until we receive true repair.
Katie Hyson, KPBS News.
All right, so basically what we at with it now is Senate Bill 518. Okay, so basically in the original bill, it was just for the task force to do the study, to see if it was even necessary to create a bureau. So now they at the point to where Gavin Newsom say, hey, you know what? Go ahead and create a bureau. So they're supposed to cover genealogy, and you can go read this on the California website, but they're covering genealogy, education, outreach, and legal affairs. All right. So the genealogy portion is very interesting. You know, we covered that when they started doing the original one. So if you are, if this is something that you feel is due to you, you should definitely be keeping track of this, because this will lay precedent. Me personally, I feel like it's lacking a lot of substance when you actually read what they're putting out, because basically what they're saying is now you can go ahead and set up this genealogy department. So we can't be no hypocrites. Obviously, we encourage doing your genealogy. But I'm very curious as to when that started happening, what's going to happen on the back end, because there were some other bills that were shot down that was a part of this as well. So you had property. So anybody who had property claims through eminent domain out there in California, which would be way more realistic to have happened in Cali, something like Bruce Beach. I remember their whole situation, but there was several others. But that's not a part of this. So he vetoed anybody who was enslaved and will be impacted by this. They can't use eminent domain for any property. So they vetoed that. And then so the reparations fund, there's no money been allocated as far as what they paying out. It's just for the formation of this governmental department. All right. They also was trying to ask about, they got vetoed about asking for college admission anywhere in California if your family, if your ancestor was affected. They Gavin Newsom got that out of here. And then, but what he did sign is that Bureau of Descendants of American Slavery. So that's supposed to be this new operation that they laying down out there to say that they're going to do the genealogy. They're supposed to educate people. It's going to be this whole show is what they're saying. So, you know, we got to keep track. There's not a lot of information out right now as far as the planning, because this just happened. So like I said, this is Senate Bill 518 out there in California. Me personally, I think that Gavin Newsom is positioning himself to run for president. And, you know, he's going to come super liberal. He's going to want to definitely get the black vote because, you know, that's the Democratic play now. And we're going to get to that. So a lot of people have been coming to ask us, you know, because they think that at the Autonomous Party that we are pushing for one political party or another. And literally in our name tells you our political affiliation. We are autonomous. OK, however, though, can't lie and say that we don't pick fun at the Democrats a lot, mainly because they are the ones who are trying to attach themselves to Black Americans. This is just the truth of the matter. So we got to be hypercritical on the things that they say in regards to our community, because they are the ones who say that they want our vote. But a lot of times by the actions, it's a lot of disrespect involved. And that's kind of how we're going to get to the next topic when we get to this Voting Rights Act. So it's a whole case going on in Louisiana. But like I said, when it comes to this Senate Bill 518, Gavin Newsom, boy, we on your ass. We're going to follow this all the way through. We're going to touch on every piece of information they put out. You know, we're going to cover it. All right. So now what we're going to do, we're going to transition. We've been doing a lot of talk about law, about voting, about status, about different names. Hold on, let me see next week. About different names and getting everything together as far as legality, right? So now we got to take it over to Louisiana, my home state, but I got to keep it real. It's been some foolishness going on, and this is another Democratic play in the way this is being framed. But you know how we do. We'll take you over to the other side first. Let's hear what they got to say about this, and we're going to break it down.
Majority U.S. Supreme Court signaled it may weaken or do away with a key section of the longstanding Voting Rights Act.
Today, the High Court heard arguments in a Louisiana case trying to strike down the state's second black majority congressional district. Now, Paul Murphy joining us from the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in downtown New Orleans tonight with the latest. Paul?
Katie Cherise, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals had directed the state of Louisiana to create new maps that included that new second majority minority congressional district by January 2024. The state legislature redrew the congressional boundaries, which have since been the target of legal challenges all the way up to the Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court heard 2.5 hours of arguments in the Louisiana congressional redistricting case, Louisiana versus Calais. At issue, whether creating a second majority-minority district violated the U.S. Constitution. The outcome of the case could determine the future of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, a key protection against racial discrimination in voting. NAACP Legal Defense Fund attorney Janai Wilson warned that eliminating the provision could have widespread consequences.
My opponent's late-breaking and recordless facial and as-applied challenges seek a staggering reversal of precedent that would throw maps across the country into chaos.
Lower courts found Louisiana's previous single-majority black congressional map likely violated the Voting Rights Act by diluting the voting power of black residents, who make up about 1/3 of the state's population. State Solicitor General Benjamin Aguinagua argued the Constitution does not tolerate government-mandated racial balancing.
It requires striking enough members of the majority race to sufficiently diminish their voting strength, and it requires drawing in enough members of a minority race to sufficiently augment their voting strength.
Justice Brett Kavanaugh questioned attorneys about whether it's time to end the use of race-based districts.
This court's cases in a variety of contexts have said that race-based remedies are permissible for a period of time, sometimes for a long period of time, decades in some cases, but that they should not be indefinite and should have an endpoint.
Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson disagreed.
It doesn't need a time limit because it's not doing any work other than just pointing us to the direction of where we might need to do something.
The Supreme Court could return a decision by the end of the year.
Whatever they do, we hope that it will result in better clarity and better instructions for legislatures.
We feel very confident that the law is absolutely on our side.
The court discussions and fight over Louisiana's congressional districts has now lasted about 3 years. We're live in downtown New Orleans. Paul Murphy, WWL, Louisiana.
Oh, Paul, we know that second majority minority district extends from Baton Rouge to Shreveport, that is now represented by Democratic Representative Cleo Fields. How are state leaders reacting to this potential change in Louisiana's congressional maps? And if it is change, are they signaling they will appeal?
Well, I think a lot of the state leaders expected the High Court ordered a re-argument in the case, which happened today. In fact, the lawmakers had put some dates on the calendar for a potential special session for drawing new congressional boundaries, and obviously that special session is off for now.
Yeah, right, Paul, thanks so much. They said that they believe that that decision could possibly come down in summer of 2026. Thanks for that update.
Summer in 2026, so you know we're going to be on it. So check this out. Because, so all over social media right now, if you tapped into this specific topic, basically the way it's being framed is literally that black people is about to lose their voting rights in America. Like, this is the way that you got. I just seen something on The Breakfast Club. They literally had a clip. And Charlemagne, after that, they had a sister come break it down. Charlemagne at the end, he literally said that. When that couldn't be further from the truth. This is why it's important for you to go read on your own. So we've been covering the 13th, the 14th, and 15th Amendments, right? The Reconstruction Acts. And it's funny that this is happening at this time because we literally have been talking about this for the last 3 or 4 different Sunday services, right? So check it out. So what they're talking about specifically, we're talking about the voting rights. So we're talking about the 15th Amendment. And they're talking about Section 2 of this, which basically says they don't want to have districts set up within a state to where it's set up for minorities, right? So you can't redistrict based on race is what they're saying. All right, now it makes zero sense because that's not even needed right now. And we can use Louisiana, for example, once again. And this is not just to pick on Louisiana. I'm from there, so I know this personally, but this also happens in all other Black areas because right now in America, you can go pull up the data and it shows the majority of Black people in America are congregated within the Southeast, in the East Coast. That's the biggest conglomeration of Black people in America to this date, and it's always been like that. Okay, so you're saying in these areas that Black people need special districts set up for them to be able to vote fairly, when right now in most of these states and city elections, the Black voter turnout is very low. So for Louisiana, for example, they got a guy, I think it's JMC Analytics or something of that sort. He does when the polls close, he does the polling data in Louisiana. And it was literally like 24% out of the eligible voters in Louisiana showed up for the local elections. Okay, this was from 2023. So they want us to believe that, and this whole thing about whose Black vote is being suppressed. Tell me where y'all can't go in America as a Black person with an ID that's a registered voter and you can't go vote because of your race. Like, we got to keep it real. That's not happening in Louisiana. It's not happening in Georgia. It's not happening in any other Black people that I know in the real world, all over the South and over the country. So how is your vote being denied at any of your local polling places? Like, we all would agree that the polling, the voting process could be simpler as far as why do we got to go and use these machines? It's 2025. It's a lot of ways we can use technology. But nonetheless, when I just voted here in Georgia in the last election, bro, you can walk right in there. It took me all of 10 minutes. And I'm not saying the time-wise it's the same everywhere, but when I went in there, I didn't have no problem. A lot of people worked in the polling stations were Black. So I get what they're trying to say. To me, this feels like a political play by the Democrats because they're trying to tell you that we need districts to be set up for it to be fair, even though in Louisiana right now, there's plenty of Black politicians getting elected. Okay. And the reason why the state hasn't been influenced by some of the Black voters is because of the voter turnout. For whatever reason that may be, the facts is the facts. It would be much better if you had 75 to 80% show up to vote versus 24. I mean, that's just common sense right there. But in the media, they're trying to tell us that they want to change everything, when in reality, Section 2 is so. This is both sides of the argument right here. You got the side that's trying to challenge Section 2 in saying that, hey, we should get rid of Section 2 because we don't need race-based districts anymore, right? Which goes with the whole everybody's supposed to be fair and equal. Why do we need to have race-based districting set up? But then you got the Democratic side saying that if we get rid of that, there's no way to guarantee that the Republicans won't take away Black people's right to vote. When Section 2 has nothing to do with their right to vote, it has to do with the way districts are set up, right? So it's one thing to argue on that side of it because you feel, hey, that's your constitutional right. You want to protect that, cool. But to frame it as if Black people's voting rights are going to be taken away is crazy. That's the fear mongering that the Democrats use. And it's a strategy that we really gotta move past that because so right now, here it is. Comment. So Americans don't pick a party. We govern both sides of the executive branch people. So it's funny you say that because right now today, we're not exercising our political power at a local level. But then we want to complain about federal politics. It don't make no sense to me. So it's like we sit here and let these people play games with us, fearmonger. The average person who's talking about these topics never went to go research any of this for themselves. Black people's voting rights are not in danger of being taken away. This is all political games. The average person couldn't tell you nothing about a political district and what it looked like and what it contains. They don't care about that. They want to know if the people represent them or doing things to help them. You know what I'm saying? And we kind of need to get back to that. So, hey, that's what we do over here. We present everything from an autonomous perspective. We're not saying which side is right or wrong. We just bringing out the facts of the matter. All right. So, but what I will say is we definitely got to get more involved, because 24% turnout for your local election is crazy, especially if you're on this internet now talking about how the world finna end because what Trump doing. Like, it don't even make sense, bro. But hey, it is what it is. So that's your news segment for the day, y'all. So what we finna do is El Negro Part 2, the Roman edition. We're breaking down law. We've been breaking down statuses and why they matter. Why it also matters to be informed and know for yourself. All right, so we're going to get to that. But first, we're going to bring the Gullah Man Squad through. They came back. They're going to do a little 1-2 for us. We're going to let that entertainment play out. The next, we got Matt in the building. We're going to have 9 either come a little later. We're going to get to this El Negro. All right, so y'all go ahead and fill your cup up, whatever you got going on. And we're about to go to the Gullah Man Squad real quick. Then when I come back, we're going to get the bill started. All right, so hold on.
Twice, yeah, still can't cage what the soul ignites. Lines and ledgers, pens and promises,
but the people still pay the price.
Yeah,
they'll trace your name, not your need. They'll quote your pain, not your creed. Say sorry with a seal and a grin, but the check don't cash when the truth too thin. We the proof they can't erase. Still singing freedom face to face. They gave us forms, we gave them faith. But baby, faith don't feel no safe. Recognition
without redemption, another law with no dimension. They say we heal cause we listed, but the promise still missing.
Twice, yeah. Till I rise past every line. Yeah. You can't free me with your pen, yeah. When the ink's still soaked in sin. Count me once, count me twice. Yeah. We the choir they tried to divide. Yeah. You can't buy back what we bled. Yeah. Freedom don't live in your legs.
72 to 24. That's not math, that's a war. They cracked the block, packed the door, then told us equal. We seen this before. The 15 said vote, the 14 said own, but ownership died when they claimed it throne. Now the gavel got a southern tone, and every count cut to the bone. We the light, we the truth. Measure but never invite. They don't lift us, they list us.
But the list don't love us like the Lord does. Still I rise. You can't free me with your pen when the ink's still soaked in sin. Count me once, count me twice. We the storm they can't disguise. You can't cage what God done say. Hey, freedom don't live in your letters. Hey.
Before Europe made color a cage, it was a title of honor. El Obscuro meant the dark one of covenant blood. Royal anointed remembered. Rome gave the word. Iberia refined it. And the colonies tried to bury it. But the meaning lives on.
In the tongue of Rome, obscuro meant wide, the shadow that guarded the morning sky. Simeon the seer walked with the flame, marked by truth, not by shame. They saw his hue but missed his role, a keeper of scrolls, a shepherd of souls. Before empires twisted the sound, the royal shade wore heaven's crown. They called us shadow, but the name was royal first. But the name was royal first. Born of covenant blood, not a human curse. Change the tongue, but not the line. No. But promise still good. Defined by design. Yeah. Oh, by design. Then the Yahia Ben Rabbi rose in the west, scribe to the kings in wisdom dressed. They called him dark counselor, keeper of law, a Hebrew Moor. Few men saw from Lisbon's docks to Guinea's sands. He charted seas with sacred hands. The faith he carried lit the tide long before Europe came to ride.
They took the builders, renamed them slaves, buried the maps inside their graves. But the trade they called discovery was born from sacred memory, not color, but covenant blood. That's what the royal title stood for. When crowns crossed oceans with apple creed, there wrote new laws for ancient seas. Color in law, cast in name, that's how they hid the royal flame. Yeah, every part, each broken chain, sang the covenant refrain. From David's sons to maroon kin, the royal promise rose again.
Iberia refined it. All the colonies weaponize it.
But we remember the covenant. El Obscuro, the royal one who remembers who he was before classification.
Oh yeah, we back at it, man. We back at it. Let me go and get Mac up here. Coach I George and Choir. We're gonna get to it, man. So let me bring Mac up. Back. What's the business, bro?
Man, come on, man.
Let them touch your soul real.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Gullah Man Squad. Yeah, shout out to Gullah Man Squad.
Yeah.
What up, Monte? How you doing, man? I like the news.
Good,
You're what they
yeah.
tell to everybody out there. Yeah. That's what's currently we see. Also, a lot of people want to hear them kind of things. A lot of things we hear about social media, but what you pointed to this week with news, homeboy, with the news part, you know what I mean? Shout out to you for that. And I think people need to basically take ownership, be autonomous in your decisions, but you can't act like you ain't taking part and things are happening in your community as if what's happening to you, you took part in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what you said was real about that. That's 100 right there. You know what I mean? But man, listen here.
Hey,
as you play that,
go ahead. No, you got it.
All right. As you played that, in my mind, I'm like, boy, listen here. The Gullah Mask Choir, boy. Hold on, let me get some of this grape juice. You know
and make sure when y'all come back, play it over and over so you can listen to the lyrics.
Lord, listen here.
Marguerite, appreciate that question.
Veronica.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody that's live with us right now. Yeah, for sure. That part too. Shout out to everybody that's live with us or go and watch it after the fact. That's how we always do it. Obviously, you know, it's your boy Mac Ether, Gullah Mask Choir. Yeah, I'm gonna say it like that. Yeah, Gullah. Yeah.
Hey.
What happened?
You know, hold on. Make sure.
You went there?
That's why. That's you say we need to go ahead and address it. So we might as well before we get to the bill.
Before we get to it, let me do real quick. You know what I'm saying? Can you hear me? Everybody?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. You hear me clear? All right, make sure. No disrespect to nobody that's on social media dealing with any indigenous information, especially if it led you to think that you needed to research more into your heritage and genealogy, being just labeled a Negro and what the system called you, which is a Roman term, African. You know what I'm saying? So I've been on this journey. And, we done did indigenous conferences and things like that. Shout out to Teddy T and other people I know that, helped us do that in my local area. And we've traveled to other areas before. We've come in on YouTube, by the way, to talk about none of our indigenous stuff or anything dealing with what we're doing now with the party, content-wise, as people would say, with our media. You know what I'm saying? Now, in the standpoint of that, the brother, Tony Miller, he's going to get a shout out because he responded, you respond. You see what I'm saying? So in the situation, I don't get think my Indian heritage. You know what I'm saying? You hear me?
Yeah.
I went out. You hear me?
You broke up a little bit.
Okay.
But I
don't know about all that. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. Yeah, because I seen my thing go black for a second, but I don't know nothing about me finding out about what I know about my indigenous ancestry. You know what I'm saying? From I'm too old to act like that. And I've been knowing about my shit since I was 13. You know what I'm saying? Easy. So my grandma told me, as people would say, you heard me? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I don't know what other people got going on with, because they might have found out online, and it's a wave, as homeboy trying to say too. It's a wave we all know. I'm glad that you on the wave of doing your ancestry and your heritage and knowing that that term Negro and African American is a system term. It's not your heritage terms and your bloodlines. So that's what I got. What you got to say about it? You know what I'm talking about real quick before we go.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take it to a different angle because this is a cultural problem, right? So as y'all can see from the comment, we highlight the good and we highlight the bad, because if you do the content, you got to have thick skin because people gonna talk crazy. But let me tell you, we got a good enough amount of data within this channel to know what a majority of the negative comments from. It ain't the big bad white man. That's what they think, man. It's niggas. Y'all come here talking crazy. Why would this even be a competition between us and Dan Calloway in the first place? When you go through YouTube, it's thousands of people who talk about gaming, cars, and they talk about the same games, the same cars, the same sports, whatever the case may be. But somehow it's a problem for us to want to talk about history and things that we take our time and put our time and resources into, and we do not make no bag off of this, bro. We are actually in the deficit to run this this is a passion project for us. So you got to put respect on anybody who gets behind the camera and is willing to present even information. Even Dane Calloway has some very well put together series he had back in the day. It ain't no knock to him, but for this individual who came on behalf of him, you sound really crazy, bro. So we get a lot of things like this. So, you know, it's just to show y'all the other side of things and what we be going through just to try to put content out. You got to deal with people from your own community who talk crazy like this. Like, bro, we not the ones for the game. So shout out to you for helping us by leaving a comment, because you know had so much of an issue with us that you left us a comment. So for sure, appreciate it. But at the party, it's just how we rocking, Max. So, you know, put you on Front Street, bro. You know, spread the word.
Spread the word.
But let's get to it, bro.
This is out there. If anybody want smoke, you know what I mean? You can go there. You know what I mean? Just let them know. Feel me? I want to make sure I say it like that. El Negro. Yeah. The niggas is for the niggas. This is for the niggas. You know what I mean?
Be clear. But yeah, bro. So Matt, you know what inspired? What took us to part 2?
Well, you know, we've been doing the Roman edition, right? So being that we doing the Roman edition, we just got to talk about the freedmen. We got niggas in America talking about they freedmen. You know what I mean? We got folk talking about the system right now. They starting to research constitutions. I see certain rooms on social media, and shout out to them for even, like you said on here, being brave enough to have these conversations that are serious with people they don't know. And you get to hear people's perspectives. You know what I mean? So it's still it's a bunch of niggas, you know what I mean? Talking about these perspectives of the system, right? And I know America's new wrong. We broke that down last week, you know what I'm saying? So I only felt that we got to go back to the origin, you know what I mean, of where the term derives from, and obviously the people being described as that, you know what I'm saying, during this time frame. You know what I mean? So Nine say he just pulled up. I don't know if you see him.
Yeah, I see him. I'm about to let him up now. I'm bringing you up now, Nine. Nine Ether. What's good, brother? Let me know if you can hear us.
Mic check.
You hear?
So either way, why not get it right? I'm gonna say what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
The El Negro series, me and Nine did it before, you know what I mean? But we were just touching on Yahya El Negro. And it was funny, on social media, we was having, you know, I saw me and Nine met. We was talking about, you know, what we've traced. And at that time, we told y'all back then, you can go back and watch it, dealing with Yahya El Negro. See what I'm saying? But then it was like with the Roman situation, you know, funny enough, Simon, the Niger, who we mentioned, you know what I'm saying, on the Freedmen joint, and you did a short for it, Monte, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be Acts 13:1. Anybody want to look it up in the biblical reference to who he is? And he will be a leader at a church. You see what I'm saying? So this is where we went back to him, and because it starts with him as far as people looking for a word and how words have variations over time. You know what I mean? So in his position, Simon the Niger, you know what I'm saying? El Negro, you know what I mean? Because it is a Latin term. Niger, Niger, is a Latin term. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Within the Latin language, Negro is too. We just say it the way we say it as Americans today, niggas.
Right, because it's been progressed
at the same time of it. Yeah, right. It's a general term, and it's changed in its understanding.
Yeah, it's been remixed,
derogatorily speaking. Yeah,
and that's what we're getting at. So just to frame that, so Matt, we getting at the whole point of this started anciently, but it's still around to this day. We literally are talking about just from the news, right? The Voting Rights Act is tied to the Civil Rights, tied to freedmen, which is tied to Negro.
And that's what we need to understand. You know what I mean? I think that when we understand who he is in the context of the time, Rome, by the way, Roman edition, you know what I mean? Because it's the Romans that's describing him as a Niger. It's not him. He's not saying he's Niger. That's what the Romans are saying to him. You know what I'm saying? Acts 13:1. You know what I mean? If anybody don't know the verse, real quick, I see 9 just pulled up. Hopefully getting his stuff right. You know what I mean? It says, now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simon, that was called Niger. So really, Barnabas is called a Niger too. You see what I'm saying? Not just Simon. You know what I mean? By the way, also Lucius, Lucius of Cyrene. And if you go research Cyrene, it's going to be located in North Africa. And also a guy by the name of Manaen. I'm gonna say Manian. That's how I'm gonna pronounce it. You know what I mean? And Saul, who they call Paul. All these men, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men. They're all being described as Niger at this place. People don't understand that though in the context of what we're talking about. Feel me? So the setting in Antioch in Syria, a major center of early Yahudim. That's right, Yahudim. And Hellenized assembly. See, the word assembly is there. Ecclesiastica is there. People being called Nigers is there. This is Roman situation, politically speaking. And they're underneath the jurisdiction of. You know what I mean? Going back to them thugs. We say them freedmen, synagogue.
Yeah. Oh, damn, Mac blacked out. You gonna let him shake back? I know his signal was tripping. While we wait on Mac to get back right. So shout out to Rolling Thunder Wolf. He said it should not matter who you are getting the information from, just as long as you are getting the information. And that's supposed to be the whole point of what we're doing, bro. So, you know, all the other stuff is really just petty. But yeah, shout out to you. That's I agree exactly. Nah, either, bro. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, I see you shaking your head for sure. Yeah. I see Matt.
Yo, you hear me, Monte?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Honor, everybody. Give me a second.
All right, and I got your link or your PDF too, so we good on that. All right, but yeah. So hey, I'm gonna run something back real quick because earlier, let me bring this till we get Matt back right. I left something out. I'm really tripping. So the whole Voters' Right Act is tied into the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Tied to Negro. We're gonna walk it all together. But while we waiting on Matt, I forgot to play y'all something. I'm really tripping. It's my fault. I apologize. So Supreme Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, she had something to say that was pretty crazy. So I'm gonna play this real quick and we're gonna get back to Matt. But I forgot, I gotta let y'all hear this. I want to hear y'all take. And this is exactly why we gotta break down this Negro. But listen to this real quick, but this is crazy.
I'm thinking of it. Of the fact that remedial action, absent discriminatory intent, is really not a new idea in the civil rights laws. And my kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory in effect because these folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system, right? They're disabled. In fact, we use the word disable in Milligan. We say that's a way in which you see that these processes are not equally open.
Hey, so this is why it's important to get informed, because this lady just sat up, this is Supreme Court Justice, just said that she's comparing Black people to folks with disabilities in regards to voting. as if you don't have the wherewithal to know what you need to do for your own best interest. And that's how the Democrats treat us, bro. That's how they approach black people. This is why you need to know your history, because they always are referring to history. And we don't want to understand what the Reconstruction Act was about. We don't know what the real term Negro is. We steady tying this to Africa and stuff like that. Well, we need to know this is a legal term. This has all happened and been remixed several times over. This is why they pick specific words. So I know when we go into the details, sometimes I know everybody don't want to hear this because it's not the sweet and sexy read your census records and here go this hidden record that nobody knows about. That ain't what this is. It's for repetition of understanding what really happened, so you can speak to it whenever you need to. But Mac, you back with us, bro. This I just had to, do what I do real quick and pivot, but we back on game.
Thank you. I don't know how to phone call certain things, all this stuff connected. You know how that goes.
It's all good, bro. I'm the host with the most. I got it.
You got this. Homeboy with the news, Monte, from show. I really think that people need to know, as I was talking about before I got cut off real quick, and sorry about that live with y'all, but still marks the covenant identity, early church. Like, this is going to be first century. You know what I'm saying? When you go back and watch the Freedmen bill, when we broke down Roman ideals of how the term freedmen is being used jurisdictionally underneath Rome, this is the same time period. So we had to start here first so everybody know this is the term, this is where it's coming from, this is the origin, this is the jurisdiction, and the people who are being identified, the 5 men that I mentioned before I got cut off, just to make sure y'all got them. You know what I mean? It's going to be Barnabas, Simon, Lucius, Menion, and Saul, the most popular, Paul. You know what I mean? So in that situation, all I want to do is lay that groundwork first, because this is going to be first century and it's underneath the Roman jurisdiction, and they're being classified as what we call today Negroes. And their nationality, based off of their time frame and their simile that they're dealing with at that time frame, is dealing with actual jurisdiction that kind of gives them a way to think about moving outside of what Rome is doing. And that's why they're being described a certain way too. You see what I'm saying? And the Yahudim, because Paul is Yahudim. You know what I'm saying? This is just keeping it simple as far as a national identity, as the short said the other day. You know what I mean? This is not a religious thing. This is their identity. This is Rome identifying them. You know what I mean? Yep. Not nobody being called Africans. Because this is actually taking place before Carthage, where we showed you African pronucleus, that term, showing as a province, type of called Carthage with the Punic Wars.
Yep.
Right. So that province ain't even set up yet, or a term dealing with Scipio Africanus, who was the one
prior to all
that area on behalf of Rome. You know what I mean? That's the timeline for this. So you can go look it up, tell me if I'm wrong. If you see something different, I would like to know. You know what I mean? So there's nationalities before the province is even set up. We call it today Africa in its origin. The word Niger is older than the actual province called Africa.
Damn. Boy, hey, they don't want to hear me Sundays. Oh, there you go. You came back quick this time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You must can't hear me. I can see you and hear you. Well, they hating on the Sunday service today. We having technical difficulties, but we're gonna get right. You already know. So what we gonna do? Matt gonna shake right back. I'm gonna play a commercial, bro. We'll be right back.
Start to feel alone. I just play your voice loud, that I say before things change.
Chit. All right, hold on. We back.
Someone
You
keep
know what I'm saying?
on calling me live. You heard me?
Bro, you gotta cut. Tell them hold the line. It's time to preach, my boy.
Yeah, what's going on with these folks? Y'all know let me know we live now. We live. So this thing's just happened. I can't do nothing about it. These people hitting my phone like that's crazy. They really trying to get a hold of me. Just to let y'all know, I'm sorry I can't talk. But either way, where we're at though is the Latin terms like Niger later informed Europe's European hierarchy. You know what I mean? So as Rome now goes in dispersion, I'm going to do another verse to you. You know what I mean? And it's going to be time. And Obadiah 120. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You were getting shaky, but I got you.
Okay, make it show. All right. Yeah. I see. I don't know what's going on today now. They don't like this Negro conversation.
That's what it is.
You know what I mean? But Obadiah, you know what I'm saying? 120 in the biblical book, he's talking about a place that we call the Sephard. That's going to be the term in Obadiah 120. It's the first time you'll see the word Sephard being used. Now, the ideal of when you understand Obadiah's time frame, he is talking about a time frame of Babylonian time frame going into Roman time frame of things of dispersion and exile of those who are now in these regions, such as what we call Europe. And now how they're going to be described using this word Negro or Niger or dealing with their national ideal of who they are underneath the Roman situation, you know what I mean? Tied to assemblies that are in exile positions within these territories that Rome is naming. Is that making sense, Fonte? Is anything? Yep. It's not there, by the way. It's not here with us.
Yeah, he say he getting himself together though, but he's still on the stream.
Okay,
I already got his hold on, we got some shout out, bro. Let me get straight. I think I hear Peace Nicosia, Peace APTV. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all checking it. Oh, we got Erie. You almost there, brother?
Yo, you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I got any background?
Not. Hold on. Let me see. You good?
What up, Mac? What up, Monte?
Ain't nothing.
Autonomous party.
Mm-hmm.
We ready to go in. Sorry for the difficulties.
It's all good. It's going around, bro. We make it do what it do.
Shout out to the chat. I see my sister Sherry in there. APTV, that's my boy in South Carolina.
Okay, shout out to South Carolina.
Shout out to Zero Respect Clothing for coming through. Shout out to the whole family. Take it away, Mac.
Yeah, so what we gonna get people into, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out to you.
I appreciate you too. Shout out to you. Shout out to the party. If you're with us, you with the party. You with the assembly today. You know
Peace to the party.
Yeah. Peace to the party, Maranatha. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. Make sure I get that to you every time I see y'all. So within this, so the word Sephar, as he got it there now. See, it's on my timeline. We got to show you these things. And it's going to be dealing with a word later on. We hear people use it today in current day time, 21st century. The word Sephar is going to be obviously tied to the places we call Spain, Portugal. Really, before it's being called that, it's called Lusitania. All right, Lusitania is going to be tied to this situation. See what I'm saying? So when he's using this, because remember, this is in context to people who are in exile positions when Obadiah is using this verse. All right, you see the word exile is there. See what I'm saying? It's not like I'm saying it. I want to make you get it in context. All right. So as it says, the setting in Anatolia in Syria, a major center of Yahudim and Hellenized assembly. See what I'm saying? So this is the same people who are now going out into these regions of the Sephard, also tied to Iberia. See what I'm saying? And I think that when people understand the full context of the timeline, dealing with people being described as Negroes who are in an exile position tied to the national ideal of who they are, being called Yahudim, because that's going to be their bloodline heritage. This ain't got nothing to do with Israelites today and all that kind of stuff they be wrestling. You know what I'm saying? This is where it's dealing with nationality.
Hey, but to give them some credit though, this is where a piece, like, cause they got a piece of the truth. as far as when they talk about black Jews, you know what I'm saying? They just all the other stuff that come with it is kind of where it get convoluted. But they was on that part, they on point.
Right. No, the fact that they're acknowledging in the biblical book sense that the people of that time they called Israelites would not be identified as white people today, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or somebody else. That right there, the docket, I mean, we show you Simon and Niger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It makes sense. It
you know
add up.
Paul, he's a Benjamite. You know what I mean? That's the tribal background. You know what I mean? The tribal terms that and it definitely will be described as Romans calling them in a Latin term at that time. Yahudim and Niger are synonymous at this time frame. That's who's being called it first. That's who's being called it first. I'm not saying later on other groups of people, we're going to show that too, aren't being also described in different regions with the term Negro or Niger or niggas. You hear me? But at the same time, we got to understand the root of it. That's why Obadiah talking about Safar. If you hear people talking about later on, this is going to be tied because we brought up Yahia El Negro, and he is going to be rare. He's located in the Safar. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's why I want to make sure that that's there so you can get the connection that in this. Okay, because 90 of them we have done it before. That's why it's part 2. But now we're going to give you the backdrop with Rome involved. See what I'm saying? So within that context of Obadiah, before we move on to the next joint, the book of Obadiah was written around 6th century BCE after the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem, 586 BCE. At this time, many Yahudim already exiled to Babylon, Edom, and Phoenician trade zones. All right? That's what we got on the backdrop of where that this is happening in this time frame. By the way, the other terms Obadiah mentions is Zarephath, that's Zarephath. It's going to be tied to the Phoenicians coast, which is going to be North Africa, by the way. And Safar, which is going to be tied to Iberia, and then obviously later what we call Spain and Portugal, as those crowns come about. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure we lay it out because, you know, we're going to move fast once we move past that right there. You know what I'm talking about? Funny enough, too, Negev, I'm going to leave that out. Negev, Southlands, which is going to be tied to Africa, Arabia, and it also says America. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be tied to Edris, 1340 through 45 for y'all biblical folk out here tapping in with us on this Sunday service. I'm going to give you these sources to go look do your research. Go read the book. Historically speaking, you know what I mean? And within the captivity of Jerusalem in Safar, the Yahudi exiles who were settled in Iberia later renamed it Sephardim. You see how far back they've been exiled and went out there? So I mean, Safar is not Africa. Safar is not Africa, right?
Yep.
That's Europe, correct? They call that Southern Europe.
Yeah.
Right?
Iberia, yeah.
So there's black folk, niggas in where? Southern Europe. We showed you already England, 1290. King Edward the First is kicking out who? Yahudim. Who are where? In Europe. You know what I'm saying? Is there Yahudim in West Africa too? Yes. But what the point of it is, this Negro term and their dispersion tied to this Roman, and then from before Rome, Babylon, you heard me? Assyria. And this is why Obadiah comes into play in reference to this for you to go research the understanding of this exile trail. You know what I'm saying? That we've been covering, you know what I mean? Within the last couple of joints, you know what I mean? So within that, you know, I don't want to, I ain't gonna harp on that. Y'all go, you want to move on to the next slide? I think.
Hold on, real quick. We got somebody. He was showing us love over there on X. Wiley's offspring say peace to the party, bro. Peace to you. Shout out for you supporting us, bro.
Yeah, shout out to Wiley, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to Swati Fox over there on X too. You heard me?
Yeah, she just reposted. I was just about to put up.
See? Boom! Look at that! I see it. Yeah. Shout out to her because she be supporting us. Shout out to her.
Facts.
Man. You know what I mean? Much
facts. You say next slide though. I got you. Hold on.
Everybody's sharing it out. Let's move forward though. Yeah, timing wise.
Oh shit.
So this is this is the person that me and I were talking about when we first did the bill. That's why.
Hope we ain't losing. Let's see.
Where in Southern
Europe.
You
go. Mac, you can hear me?
Now you there?
Mac, run that back because you went
broke
out.
Up. Yeah. You broke up though when you said we were explaining it, Mac.
You broke up.
Okay, hold on. You hear me now, though?
Yeah, you good now.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, bet. What I was saying is this is where me and 9 did the bill, and this is the guy that came up. That me and 9 originally did the bill on dealing with El Negro. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
We were tracing in 9 the genealogy on this person to prove that he is of what we call Yahudi ancestry. They call them Jews. You hear me? Today, right?
Yep.
Is I'm there? Or I freeze?
Yeah, you good? Nah, you good.
All right, so boom. Yahya, make it show, because, we tripping on my side sometimes. Yahya Ben Rabbi, Negro, El Negro, 12th century nobleman. Who he served? He served the crown. That's going to be tied to who? Portugal. Portugal what? In 12th century? They're not even calling it Portugal yet. It's called Lusitania. The natives of that area, South Iberian people, are calling it Lusitania. You know what I'm saying? The Romans are calling it Lusitania. See what I'm saying? 12th century. So King Alfonso I. You see what I'm saying? So you see that word exile, right?
And you said it right there. King Alfonso I. That's when the name Portugal started to be used. Yeah.
It came up with the corporate name. You hear me?
Yes, exactly.
Port of Gaul.
Port of Gaul.
Yes.
The Port of Gaul.
The biggest port city in the world at this time. They ran the water. So keep that in mind as well to why they named it.
And Portugal's autonomous at that situation. And Yahya's family, his grandfather particular, is a minister of Templar lands in that area. So anything the Templars acquire, Yahya's grandfather is tasked with distributing that land, redistributing that land, and expanding whatever autonomous communities he's looking to have. So in that, when you look at that early, right before the Templars get their beef, that 1200s, they're chopping up land in this Reconquista.
Yeah.
I think that's right there. The Reconquista gonna come up soon. You see that, right?
Yeah.
So we
and Eric, let me know when you want me to go to
make sure that we got it like that. Yeah, what you want to show something now that we did real quick now? Because I could go on tangent.
Just let me know when you're ready.
No, keep going.
Okay. I bet. So Yahya though. So Yahya Ben Rabbi is often described as a Portuguese nobleman, as you see it there. You know what I mean? According to genealogical summaries, as they say, he was born in 1150. See what I'm saying? And died in 1222. You know what I mean? This right here. You know what I mean? Family surname, Ibn Yahya, emerges in Portugal, as we just said. And Yahya is often associated with the cognomen. See that word cognomen? You heard me? El Negro, the black. You know what I'm saying? Or Negro entire, apparently tied to land grants. You heard that? Tied to land grants. Where? In Europe. You know what I'm saying? Titles in Portugal. This man right here, nigga. You know what I mean? According to the Jewish Encyclopedia, let me show you the source. I know I made sure I gave it to you, Monte. So anybody want to share it into the chat for them today, they can just get it. You know what I'm saying? The Jewish Encyclopedia that references Yahya El Negro that we brought up in the first joint. That's what we showed you the first time. You know what I mean? Not like we knew to this, right? When it comes to that part. But obviously within it, Yahya was held in high esteem among Jews and King Alfonso I. That's what we was telling you. This is the recap real quick. You know what I mean? Other genealogical sources, King Alfonso IV appointed Yahya or his father. That's right, Yahish. And now I need to get the genealogical part on that. That's why we know it's all connected, because there's people before him that are in this position of exile and the exilarch positions of title, but they're still doing things. They're not in a chattel position as we think about it today. You know what I mean? This is just you underneath systems of governance, and you're siding with situations. And that's what his family and his cognomen is tied to. Now,
and Mac, his grandfather, Haya Hanasi al-David, is the rabbi under the Portugal king at the time. And he passed away at 1154, 5 years after Yahya was born. So his genealogical trace right now. His family, even if you go to his grandfather, they're tied to the exilarchs all those people that were hiding, exiled from 600 BC to the time they pop up in Portugal, where they seem to pop up, but we trace them and know that they set up Castile and all that. But when they pop up to the public eye under the Catholic monarchs, they're basically crypto Jews, banking advisors, and rabbis to the kings.
Shoot, I mean, you on point. Anybody, you know what I mean, think something different, we want you to come back and let us know what you think. And you're gonna give us some information if you got sources to it. You know, I'm putting dates and all sorts of stuff for this, so we ain't got time to be playing around with it now. You know what I mean? As we just walked you from Simon and Niger to Yahya, they're both being called Negroes. See what I'm saying? So there's no going around. Iberian, Morano, 12th century, because the word Moran is tied to this term exilarch. You see what I'm saying? And that's titled position. Because he fought, Yahya's family fought against the Muslims. That's why he got in the position. You know what I mean? Because of what he did for what you call Alfonso. You know what I mean? Alfonso gained what he had because it was Muslims who we call Moors. If you look at that time period in that region, because the Yahudi already are distinguished as a distinct group of people who have been there from the time frame of what we just read with Obadiah. You see what I'm saying? They've already been out there. This is way before any we call Moors that are being described as Muslims coming into 711 AD. These people have been out there from before Christ was born, as they call it, Yahshua, HaMashiach. So within this, from Simon and Niger, we're showing you, I mean, you want to scroll down a little bit. I just want to make sure they can see it on the screen. You know what I mean? Quick little, you know what I mean, display of it. So, you know, y'all see I got a little PDF made up for y'all. You know what I mean? We're going to drop it. I want you to see the timeline I put together for it. Stop right there, because that's where we at. Go up a little bit more, right? Oh, wait, come down a little bit more. Come down a little bit more. Right there, stop there, right there. Okay, that's cool. Leave it right there. All right, so as it says right there, you see between Niger and Yahya El Negro, give you second century AD. You see the name? Lucius. It's a record of Cyrene. You see where the region Cyrene is connected to? Libya.
Yeah.
Liz, North Africa. He's Yahudi though, but he's in North Africa. All right. This guy right here. Tertullian, Augustine, Carthage, Numidia. You know what I mean? This is 3rd to 5th century. See what I'm saying? Jewish tribes in Arabia and Nubia. See, 10th century to 13th century. Y'all come into play. And these people who've been out there, look, Iberian, North African Yahudim, Al-Andalus, Maghrib. These people are all over the place. You know what I'm saying? The next one right here. Look at that.
In that small area.
You know what I mean?
Because that's North Africa to South Europe is a super small area. That ain't, you know what I'm saying?
That part. You know what I mean? That whole part. So that's why, you know, I want to show that. Now, we're going to come down linguistic. Go to 6 right here. You scroll down. Right. I just want to make sure you see the regions. You know, it's Sephardic families, all that, this, there. I mean, I got my chart set up for y'all with this Negro joint right here. We're going to come right here now. Yeah. 1st century, you see the chart.
Yeah.
Niger. Yeah, because he make it, everybody can see everything, hopefully.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, there we go. Boom. 1st century, Niger, Latin, black descriptor for Simon. Walk it down. 5th century, Niger, Negri, right?
Negri.
Jew. That's that word Jew in Greek.
Negri
for Jew. Yahudim. Yeah, you see, that means black Jew. You see what I said? Cross the line. Translation. Oh, look, 10th, 13th century, Moros, Morani, Iberian, Moorish / dark Hebrews. So even in the place we call Sephardim, these Yahudim are being described, especially after 711, everything, they're still being described like how the Muslims look, dark skin, Moorish, and complexion. You know what I mean? They're using these terms to identify, but these people know who they is, as Yahya El Negro, we just showed you, know who they are. Feel me? Boom. The 16th, 18th century, Negro, Negro, Niger families, Iberian, Atlantic, Morando descended Yahudim, labeled by what? The colonies. By who? The Portuguese and the Spanish. Now, come on, summary. I mean, we're going to go to the next one. I just want to make sure I give it to you like that. 9, is anything you want to say about that?
Nah,
What you
keep
think?
going. Keep going, baby.
All right, bet money. Bet money. All right, boom. Funny enough, too, that because it's Latin, we're using the word Negro, Niger, Negri, etc. That's Latin. Now, in
Right.
these people's heritage, they call Yahudim. Their term for black is Shakur. However you want to pronounce it. It sounds like Tupac Shakur. I want to put
So
that
they're
out
being
there.
labeled by
You know what I'm
another.
talking about?
So Latin is labeling them in. So they're being labeled in a language that's not their own.
Correct.
That sound
That's not
familiar?
the term in their language, right? That's not the term. If they would call themselves black, they would not use the term Negro in their own linguistics, cultural
Hey,
situation.
so let's make
The word
that
is Shakur.
connection, Matt. Let's make that connection because we
Mhm.
always want to make sure because we showing them
You can
the
show it.
past and how it comes to the present. So right now today, you're being labeled with a term that did not come from the language of your people. It's just how you get the black and the colored. All of that derived from this system and from this word, literally. Negro travel all the way to America. We proved it through the Asiento, they Negro. We proved it. And we know for a fact they use Negro in American through American history. I don't think there's nobody who will debate us on that. That is like a historical fact, right? So that's the connection. But yeah, keep walking though, Mac. I just want to connect them real quick.
So now you want to say something about that? Make a show. You know what I mean? Because
Nah, keep
the one
going.
that we did this with, so that's why I gotta have you here. You hear me? Let you know what I've with this Roman walk we've been doing, the details of it, part 2 of the El Negro. So Strong's Hebrew, you know what I mean? 7838. Just so you think I'm tripping, all them folks out there using the Bible, you got your strong concordances and out there like that. You should know. Just a quick little reference, you know what I mean? It's going to be tied to the term black, but it ain't got nothing to do based off the people who are Yahudim, right? In their own identity, national ideal of what the Negro description of them is by another group of people. That's not. We took that on from another group of people. Put it like that. So at the end of the day, my next joint though is La Pizza. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, show that to him real quick. Yeah, we're gonna go over to this right here though. Cause now we here now though. We're here in the time period. I want to just walk everybody up real quick to it. You know what I'm saying? I want to just walk y'all up to it, just so y'all can see. Y'all can go look it up. Strong concordance. You see the word Shakur? Shakur. Shakur. You know what I'm talking about? However you might pronounce it. That nigga Shakur.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I said, nigga, I said black. I called him black just now. He black.
Hey, check this comment out.
I got you, Henry. For sure.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read it for
you
everybody.
Make sure
so
they understand this in context.
He says exactly. There's no common ancestor called black. Even in the founding of the USA, many of our people were called white based on status. Exactly. This is so. If you don't get nothing else from what we've been breaking down, is that these terms did not mean skin color, especially when it got to America. So we're breaking down the origins of this and how it was still tied to a people. And even with this people, not everybody had to be a certain color. You just were a certain frame of mind, certain ideology, basically. But yeah, man, we got this right here. You kind of already broke it down. You want me to keep it up here or get to the next one?
Yeah, you slide. We slide next to this next slide. Time.
All right, hold on.
We're gonna hold them in the assembly too long. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the ministry.
You said you wanted to go right here. Oh, I got you.
Yep. You know, I came prepared for y'all with this PDS and stuff. I'm gonna drop that for y'all too.
Ain't even loaded. My bad. 1 second.
They good.
We got people. Shout out to Wook. Reposted the stream, man. Appreciate the love y'all showing us, especially we trying to grow on over there on X. So yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah, I'm pulling up on X on y'all soon. You heard me? I'm gonna see us in November. We're gonna pull up do some rooms with y'all for y'all that be tapping in with us from over there. Just to give shout out to y'all. You know what I mean? Real talk. We pulling up.
All right, we on deck.
All right, hold on, let me pull it back up here. So, you know, as we were breaking down, you know what I'm saying? You see that one drop rule? You see that one drop rule? We all know about the one drop rule, right? You got one drop of Negro blood, El Negro. But I need you to see, as I'm gonna walk this. This is part of the Roman edition that we had to go back and look at the system terms and how they changed too, right?
Yep.
But the Negro within it is still in the same position. So now,
right
here it is. Limpieza de San 1449 to 1600s. I got to get this out the way. You heard me? Purity of ancestry, empire, Spain and Portugal, principle, religious and moral status and heredity, mechanisms, proof of old Christian blood, no Jewish or Moorish ancestry, right? Outcome, faith and citizenship tied to lineage. You see that black in the lineage, right?
Yeah.
Impurity became biological. First system to turn genealogy into law. You see
hold on.
Now,
wait. The first system to turn genealogy into law. And they want to talk to us today about how genealogy ain't important. Go ahead, though, man.
Amen.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. They've been doing this for a long time, and we think it's a game. This is the most sophisticated system you've ever seen in your life. And for people to think you can watch 5 YouTube videos and have it all down, it's crazy, bro.
That's what some people think.
That's what they think, literally.
Somebody made it think, though, at least.
Yeah.
Hey,
I like that. Yeah.
Partus Secutor Ventrum, 1662 to 1700s. This is where the status of birth comes into play. You know what I mean? But it's still borrowed from the Limpieza de Sangre. See, empire, English.
It's building on top of each other.
Yeah, they're being built on top of each other based off what's already in place. For those who say they're American descendants of slaves.
It's called precedence in law.
That part, right. So principle, a child inherits the mother's condition. So that's why everybody could have been basically a slave if you look at the fact that if you're not in the elite situations and they put the women already in position, then the child automatically is in the position of your mama.
Correct.
Along with along with the genealogy. So if your mama is considered a nigger or an Indian or European, it's gonna be the status of your child. Ain't that some shit?
Yep. All
right, now I want y'all to see it. That's right there. Go look it up now. Look up all these joints I'm putting here for y'all to go see. Now look, outcome, hereditary slavery and racial status fixed in law. So it's not no spooky shit. Law. Shift from religious blood to maternal race and legal property. Chattel. All right.
So this is a caste system. This is a caste system because it shifted. Like I said, it ain't got nothing to do with the religion no more. It's about the race of your mama and her status.
That part.
So it just went from what it was. First, it just turned to your genealogy based on faith. It was faith and citizenship. And the next one was like, nah, we ain't even tripping about faith. We just care about who's your mama and what type of status does she have and her family have.
That whole part right there.
Monte, pause right there.
Yep.
And pull up Galatians 4.
Okay, all right, hold on.
Galatians 4, 21 to 31. And put that on the screen.
Galatians 4 and what?
21 to 31.
All right, 1 second. All right, let me make it bigger. Hold on.
Mac, give him the one drop. Give him the one drop rule right there. Read that.
Tell me you. Go ahead.
I'll make it a little bit bigger. Just so everybody out there can see. Damn, it took me to some whole other shit. Oh, I'm tripping. There we go. All right. It says, tell me, you who want to be under the law, are you not aware of what the law says? For it is written that Abraham had 2 sons, one by the slave woman and the other by the free woman. His son by the slave woman was born according to the flesh, but his son by the free woman was born as the result of a divine promise. These things are being taken figuratively. The women represent two covenants. One covenant is from Mount Sinai and bears children who are to be slaves. This is Hagar. Now Hagar stands for Mount Sinai in Arabia and corresponds to the present city of Jerusalem because she is in slavery with her children. But the Jerusalem that is above is free, and she is of our mother. And she is our mother, for it is written, "Be glad, barren woman, you who never bore a child, shout for joy and cry aloud, you who were never in labor, because more are the children of the desolate woman than of her who has a husband. Now you, brothers and sisters like Isaac, are children of promise. At that time, the son born according to the flesh persecuted the son born by the power of the Spirit. It is the same now. But what does Scripture say? Get rid of the slave woman and her son, for the slave woman's son will never share in the inheritance, but the free woman's son. Therefore, brothers and sisters, we are not children of the slave woman, but of the free woman." That's what Erie. Hey, everybody came with the alley right on time. You hear me?
Amen, right?
That's
Amen.
You hear me? Church.
So there's two systems, and they saying it's still here today, and those systems correspond to that one drop rule of certain people under one jurisdiction being imposed upon a new jurisdiction.
Yep.
And this is the same fight Yeshua had in his time. That fight continues to this day. But being that you on that one drop rule, and we're speaking of Rome, Rome was in what? Conflict with the biblical narrative of Judea, always in conflict. And Judea saying, don't mix with these Romans and those that came under the law of Mount Sinai, because that's a later covenant. And if you were adhering to the divine jurisdiction, that divine trust verse later on, the ecclesiastical trust, you wouldn't be in that situation.
Correct. And to back what you said, so I want to be very clear for people who understand, we not Bible thumpers, but if you are a real historian, you should know by now that the Bible is a law book.
It's law. Bible is law.
And guess what, Eric? And guess what? This ain't just us saying it. The term of the first system that used this literally said it was your faith and your citizenship with your lineage. Everything we talk about over here. Go ahead, bro.
So at that time, pre zero, the year zero, anything prior to that, you had to defend yourself by the law book of your land. The law book of your land, because church and state was not separate, was the biblical text. The courts, the priestly courts, whatever they called them, they all, like, let's just say the Jewish, the Sanhedrin court.
Right, which we tie like the synagogue of freedmen.
So you got the Sanhedrin court, and then on the Roman side, you got the Arville brothers. This Arville brethrenhood, these two courts are the priestly supposed ancient courts that go by the ancient law, and they're in conflict. So you got Arville is Arval, brethren, the Roman Negro that we're going to show is a Negro priesthood in Rome against this Negro priesthood in Judea.
Good morning. Matter of fact, I got something for you real quick. Check this out now. I ain't gonna hold them too long, but when you put Galatians, I had to think about how this worked. You know, we got technology trying to pull up a verse correlate what we got, right? So I put in the Galatians, and it said here, contextual prophetic background. Paul's quote comes directly from Isaiah 54:1, a prophecy spoken after the Babylonian exile, which is what Obadiah was talking about that in 120. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So addressed to Zion. Yeah. Addressed to Zion in desolation, a city and a people exiled, yet promised future restoration and fruitfulness. See what I'm saying? So that's why all this is correlated on a jurisdictional standpoint and how they're dealing with different nations of people. Okay, Rome is at this time frame when Paul is living, who's also being called a Niger in Acts 13:1. But in the historical sense of what we just go back to Isaiah, he's talking about obviously the Babylonian and different time frames when they're in exile. Exile is still the term. You know, black folk were considered exiles before chattel came about. You heard me? It's not new.
And this still chattel is still in semblance with these terms right here.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I wanted to point that out. And within it said barren woman, journalism in exile, no longer producing sons. See, look, look, they were dealing with a problem like this going into the time frame of the Herodian dynasty, coming out of the Hasmonean dynasty, where they weren't birthing sons. And that's why homeboy, the Herodian king, King Herod, was like, look, kill their first sons. So they cannot produce what? Was tied to their heritage tribally to be able to produce a leader that's going to what? Allow them to come back and claim their ideal of who they are within their native land. Crazy enough to say it like that, but that is what it is.
They was outside of that jurisdiction.
Right, that part
that's
too.
The beef. Oh, it's the South. It's the Civil War. Who was outside of jurisdiction of the last Roman steward?
That part.
Those Indians, right?
The South. Yeah, anybody that wasn't with the 13 colonies was an issue.
On Earth, they were the last in this track that we're talking about. All right.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, so I just wanted to point that out. So Paul is telling the exiled Yahudi assemblies that their identity is not bound to the Levitical temple. See what I'm saying? Destroyed by Rome. It's just, but to a spiritual covenant of promise, the Melchizedek order. See what I'm saying? So this is how it resonates directly from what we deal with over here at the party, you know, Ecclesia, you know what I mean? Of understanding the timeline. And that's why I make sure I get, it's other joints, I can get all these things aligned. From Isaiah 54:1 to Galatians 4:27 to Obadiah 1:20 to Esdras 13:40 through 45. You know what I mean? Galatians 4:26. All of them are dealing with this same understanding. So I want to make sure within these laws that I'm reading here, you know what I mean? That one drop now. We got the one drop part. You know what I mean? America now.
Hey, real quick.
One drop rule. Go ahead.
I'm gonna see if I'm walking right. So now we referencing these verses, right? So then we know we broken down with shout out to Lee Cummins about Black Europeans who were exiled out of from the 1600s coming out of Southern and Western Europe to America, right? So King James, who chartered them to come to America, helped participate in getting the charter pass to come to America, also had this new Bible, aka law book, for them to use as a guide when they got over here to deal with the Roman system that he knew was gonna come. So am I right?
The Roman system was already here. The Roman system was already here. Remember,
the charter
was here before him. Remember?
It was in the South. It was in the South. And because the Pope didn't recognize his kingship because he was a Protestant, that created the war immediately. You understand? So that's why he went at the Pope. Like, okay, it's on. If you're not going to recognize me as England, then I got you. And I'm going to get to the North America before you because you're only in the South.
Right.
And what we call Texas, Florida, California. So King James said, all right, motherfucker, it's on. Here go the new jurisdictional doctrine. And I'm putting back all the old books that give people the freedom, if they understood this was the law book, that in Job you can get your grand jury back today if you knew that Job was speaking about grand juries. Long story short.
Make perfect sense.
Keep going, but it's a law book.
Yeah. And that can be referenced by, for all of y'all who don't know, we've said it several times, but look up Year of the Bible. Just go to Google and pull up Year of the Bible. It will literally have showing you that the American government has acknowledged that the Bible has been used in all kind of the founding of American law. So just, double down on that.
And it's attached to the foundational blueprint of an express trust of 1302, Unum Sanctum, that has not been liquidated. That's what people must understand. A couple of years ago, the Pope relinquished, or I forgot the word. He didn't rescind, but he basically apologized for slavery and what those documents did.
Yeah.
But that express trust that is active today,
it's still there. Yeah.
Unum Sanctum is using what? The Catholic Bible. Okay. Keep going, Mac.
Shout out Dre Cobbs.
What up, G?
Where we at with it, man?
Go check him out. His music, man. Yeah.
Oh shit, man, froze up. Let's see.
Come on, sound was shaky for a second.
I can hear you now. You ain't moving, but I hear you.
All right, bet, man. All right, so yeah, so technically, now that we got part that from 190 to, and obviously our conversations with. Go ahead. You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah. He must got a lag on his shit.
What I was saying, got a lag.
Yeah,
trying to make sure I'm clear.
Yeah, you good. You just got a lag. You good though.
Can you hear me now? You hear me now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to make sure. All right, bet. No. All right, so I want to make sure that the Roman system part, that's the Roman edition of everything we want from Simeon and Niger to even Yahya, and then we're going into how the system dealing with the people being called Negroes, right, and being lumped underneath now the system of, and that's why requiremento 1510 is going to be tied to how Indians, Moors, and Jews, who are all dark-skinned people, are being lumped underneath the word Negro. You see what I'm saying? And obviously now, within that, people now can debate, okay, who your mama, what your mama said, and what they were tied to, and what tribes, or whatever the case might be. But in this case, what we're talking about, the lawful part is the part that you got to trace that's there. It can't be moved. You know what I'm saying? Let's not know, you do your genealogy to find out what your heritage is mixed with. Some of you claim not to have no mixtures, whatever the case might be. But in the system of it, if you claim to be an Indian, a Moor, a Jew, or you got Black European ancestry and all that, you're going to have to do with the systematic way of how you got lumped into something,
right?
System-wise, dealing with the word.
And you got to know your genealogy to get out of it.
That part. You see what I'm saying? So now, man, there's some other El Negros I know you got for us tonight. You know what I mean? Because time flies. I wanted you to, I got a couple, but I think you had the thing that I think people might want to hear about. Some other people being called El Negro. So,
why don't you start with your the Rome one that you have, and I'm gonna take it from
the one I sent you.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, let me know which one it is.
And then I'll take it from there because Monte got the.
Which one was that? Because I covered so many of them while we prepared for this.
Oh, you know what? Forget it. Now forget it. Just pull up the PDF.
Go straight to yours.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Yeah, go to yours, yo. Because I think you got it. Like I think it's the same. It's overlapped. Either way, same other people. I got honorable mentions.
Yeah, that should be able. You should be able to see that good.
Yo, Mac, before we get into that, get that first part about the brotherhood.
Of what?
Say Monte. No, right here on screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you say go to the brotherhood?
Yeah. Read that first part.
About the Arval Acts?
Yes.
All right, so the Acts of the Arval Brethren are annual occasional inscriptions recording the rituals, sacrifices, vows, and membership attendance at a Fratris Arvales, a priestly college in Rome devoted to Dia, fertility, etc. These texts span from 21 BC to about 304 AD. Fragments survive. Many in Seal 6 in new editions, transcriptions have been made. The Acts often list the magister, the pro-magister, and other members who were present for sacrificial rites and public vows. They also record the dates, often consular years, and the ritual formula, the vows for emperor's health, etc. And then it say, so Quintus Aquilus Niger was a Roman jurist, aka legal scholar, and senator, active during the early Roman Empire, most likely under Augustus or Tiberius. So he was a jurist and legal authority. Quintus Aquilus Niger is best remembered as a jurist, one of the early legal experts. So whose opinions were cited by later jurists such as Ulpian, Paulus, and who we got? And Gaius. What you got, Erie?
All right. You can hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah.
He comes from a family of priests. And this brotherhood, this Arville brotherhood, comes from another brotherhood. Anyone that searches Rome, the most ancient brotherhood you're going to get in Rome is these brothers, the Arville brothers. The Arville brothers come from, at this time, when they traced it, their genealogy in Rome, they would call them gens. So the Aquila gens are the Arville brothers. And these brothers go back to, well, they state Romulus, and we all know the Romulus towns or whatever. So they go back to Rome and Romulus. But these were the priests of what they call the most esoteric knowledge Rome had. This is the priesthood, and this particular individual is alive at the time. He would be considered contemporary with the time that Mac just spoke about, Herod.
Yeah.
Wanting to kill all the firstborns. So he's in Rome, and he's that ancient priesthood that Herod and all these people that are under Rome's legion, whether you a king or not, everyone had to go to, higher priests. So these Arville brothers are what they call a generation of 7 to 17 generations prior to these people that we're gonna look at right here, the Aquilas. And Aquila, it means eagle. When you check the etymology of it, it means eagle. And it's code word for the wings of Isaiah, which is a long story that we can't get into that's biblically. But I just want to paint that picture that this in particular individual, this Niger, in Rome at this time of zero, we might as well call it Yeshua's time, if you're a biblical person.
Yeah.
And if you're in history, you're in the Egyptian powerful situation.
Yeah.
Where the Byzantines is about to pop off, and you get all this West Goths and East Goths stuff. Mac, you got something to add right there?
Yeah, because interesting enough, the part is the delineation, and because we're dealing back to at this time period, the word, it's like the term is cognomen. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a surname, like how Scipio Africanus, and then later Leo Africanus. You know what I mean? Are cognomens. You know what I mean? The word Africanus being used by Rome as well, but by the popes. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the word Niger, in this case, he's not Yahudim. Like he's not Yahudim. That's not his nationality. He's just dark skinned. He's dark skinned though. I mean, like, that's why he got the cognomen, but he is not, from my understanding. You know what I mean? Like he's not that.
He's not. He's of the system that is oppressing that is about to infringe upon that, and he is the order that is behind those kings. So he is equivalent to the Sanhedrin court.
Right.
Called that their Sanhedrin.
Right. At the same time, too, we got to look at Rome at this time. The people who were tied to Rome, people must think that they just white people. The word Albion or Albos, you know what I'm saying? That's Albus, you know what I mean? For white. No, in Rome, they had many different complexions of people, you know what I mean, underneath the system. So different, we call it Gentiles. Just like how the Bible tell you about how Yahudim, or people like to say Israelites, Hebrews, dealt with people who were nations of people outside of their covenant situation and their situation of development as a nation of people. You know what I mean? So in this case, the Romans are not pale skinned. Matter of fact, we're gonna do the Anglo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
We're gonna do the Anglo connection to Rome.
Real quick, Matt.
I'm gonna show y'all this, matter of fact. Word.
So shout out to Milton Phillips. He said we pushing y'all on X, and he dropped us a 10, $9.99. Appreciate that, brother. That's love there, bro. You ain't have to do that. Appreciate the support. Thanks for pushing us on X.
Sunday service.
Yes, sir. Church to you. Go ahead, man.
Shout out to you on Sunday service. Yeah, for sure. And at the end of the day, we got to make a distinction. Because see, I'm going to walk down the Anglo-Saxon Roman connection too. See what I'm saying? And the Germanic people. You know what I mean? Because the Romans aren't them. You know what I mean? And I think people aren't understanding what that is. You see what I'm saying? So we got to be on some different shit with this, because we got to keep it factual about not getting caught up in the modern day time of acting like everybody that's outside of what you think, because you caught up in this Roman term called being called an African, that other people are not distinctively, dark, but at the same time, you don't know how to distinguish that because you're caught up in this race thing.
Hey, but here go the thing that I don't understand, man.
You know what I'm saying?
To your point right there. If you're a Pan-African and you believe everywhere is black for the most part, how could it not be in Europe too, bro? When it's so close.
That's an interesting thing.
That part never made sense to me.
Well, they caught up in the West African slave trade thing. So they can't connect themselves because they ain't understanding the migration periods of things. When you look at Rome and what Rome is telling you, frankly, from the first century of them being the empire that most of these folk, not even Yahudim, but the Berbers, the Carthaginians, the Tyranians, the Celtics, you know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of people not rocking with Rome. Like, people getting caught up in their feelings of a race today. They don't understand that the bloodlines of people in the systematic situation of being lumped into the term called Negro. You see what I'm saying? I got to keep that G, because that's what it is now, today. But I'm just making sure we push it out from the beginning, as we showed you. Simon's Yahudim. Barnabas is Yahudim. All these people in the outset are Yahudim, and then they're going out into regions amongst other nationalities. And
hey, Matt, explain Yahudim
you know
for people who may be the first time watching us.
Well, obviously, it's tied to our idea of they call giving praise to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Yahuwah. But within the context of what we know, it's tied to obviously the 12 tribes. It's going to be, when as far as the 12 tribes go, the tribe of Judah. But as we show you, when we get to the time frame of the King's List, and we get to the time frame of the Babylonian exile, you know what I mean? And obviously, when Persians were beat the Babylonians, King Cyrus, you know what I mean? He allowed them people to go back into their native land, the tribe, Benjamites, Levites, and Yahudim, Judah, Yahuda. You know what I mean? In that case, though, it became a national term for everybody that's mixed and nationally dealing with what's going on from that time period. Now, obviously, the Greek part comes in. That's why you got to look at the book called the Book of Maccabees. You heard me? Because that's the time frame of the Hasmonean dynasty, and that's right before the Herodian dynasty, historically speaking, not religiously speaking. And then from there, that's when we get the idea of these same Yahudim and Levites, you know what I'm saying, who are now underneath the Maccabees. They broke away for a small period of time and got away from the Hellenized system, meaning underneath foreign governance for a moment, but they became Hellenized. The Maccabees, Judah Maccabee, you know what I mean? So
definitely.
Judaism comes in at that time. That's when the religion of Judaism kicks in, during the time frame of the Hasmonean dynasty. You know what I mean? Dealing with Judah Maccabee. That's historical. So within that sense, and then Rome kicks in, that's when the Sanhedrin underneath Rome and the time frame of the first century comes into play. The Herodian, King Herod, is the Herodian dynasty that's taken over the Maccabee situation. You know what I mean? And they are now dealing with things, they're Edomites. That's what they call themselves. You know what I mean? The Herodians. So Yahudim is a national identity, especially when we get to the first century and we're dealing with people. And, we got to bring up Paul, you heard me, Maranatha. And
that national identity is attached to an ancient banking system that got 80% of the world in debt.
At that time.
At that time.
On a trade level. On a trade
Yeah.
level. Because all the stuff that you need to come in for your empire, that's why they had to run after them so hard. Because they already had a foundation, what we call it, the Phoenicians. You know what I mean? The Tyranians. And that's the people that's running the sea. You see what I'm saying? The Egyptians, everybody's depending on this trade system. These people getting spooky about it, though.
That's why they was the ones issuing the charters and allowing people to move across the water, because they ran it.
So Monte, go back up to number 1 and 2. Read 1 and 2. You went back a little further.
Okay, so I read part of 1.
There we
go. About Quintus. So I get into his bullet point. So for Quintus Aquila's Niger, so his legal reasoning influenced sections of the Digest of Justinian, compiled in the 6th century CE under Emperor Justinian. In the Digest and other fragments, his name appears attached to discussions on liability and Delix, civil wrongs, a field where early Roman law was still evolving. So for his possible offices and backgrounds, although concrete biographical data are scarce, the name Quintus Aquilus Niger suggests he belongs to the gens Aquila, a plebeian Roman family with both senatorial and equestrian members. The cognomen Niger, black or dark, was common and likely distinguished his branch of the family from other Aquili. He may have held praetorian or consular rank, as jurists of his reputation often did, though the sources do not explicitly list his offices. You want me to read 3, bro?
That's good.
About his legal sources?
Good shit.
Yeah. So his mentions in Roman legal sources. So he is cited a few times by later Roman jurists, especially Ulpian in the 3rd century, references Aquilus Niger in matters concerning delicts and contracts, particularly in defining degrees of fault, culpa, and liability. Pomponius also names him in his Etriridin. I gotta get this right. Etriridin as part of the lineage of legal scholars between the Republic and early Empire. This shows he was part of the bridge generation between the Republican lawyers, like Servius Sulpius Rufus. Man, you ain't, but come on, hey, and the imperial jurists of the classical era. I ain't even gotta say it, but
banging. They banging out there, bro.
Yeah.
They banging. But yo, that's just to give a backdrop that Arville brethren were the seat of the Empire of Rome and its backdrop. And the plebeian families, along with, it was a good 36 branches.
Yeah.
That were trying to expand corporately. And Judea, the Jews in Egypt, and the remnants of Carthage were in their way.
So explain to the people why Niger is being attached to his name.
Because his particular gen of family which will be considered Central European Negro today. That in today's sense. But it was also letting you know, when you get into those records, they got names for colors of brown too. Gens.
Right.
Family gens. And then they have some of white. So it's not to be biased at all.
Correct.
You have to go into what the names mean.
Right.
And when you figure out what the names mean, and even the Aquilus, like I said, it's deeply, you can consider Aquilus in Rome being part of the family of that name is being of the order of the eagle. And being of the order of the eagle is the most ancient of Rome. But those people came from another place we don't even want to get into.
Right.
But go down there real quick and let me see if there's some other names on there real quick.
Yeah, all right, let me know what you want me to hit.
Nah, pass all that. Pass his family. I want to see what it was on the bottom. Who's there? Right there. Go back up.
Who, the Gaius or?
Okay, yeah. These are part of his family. You can read those two or three, just to give the people.
I'm gonna do the top 2. So Gaius Aquilus Tuscus. He was a consul from 487 BC with Titus Sinitus Sabinus, commanded in wars against the Hernisi. His cognomen Tusus Estracin in the earliest recorded Aquilus, and the source of the claim by the family was of Etruscan origin. He possibly represents the patrician line of the gens. So Marcus Aquilus, aka Marcus Aquilus, mentioned as tribune of the plebs in some lists, helped push for Lex Agraria, which was land reform.
Yes.
All right. So we got the Middle and Late Republic. Where you want to go with it? You want to go to?
No, you can stop right there. Let me see.
Okay. Let me scroll back up. All right.
And this is really for the researchers so they could take those names and add to the vibration of what we getting and giving them, because it's painstaking to go through all these different branches, but the names are recorded in history. They're on inscriptions, and Rome are the keepers of records because they're the ones who did what? Killed all the records. They,
Control,
whitewashed all the records.
Exactly. And rewrote the story. Exactly. So it's just showing some more of the Aquili family. Buku people. So y'all coming through here can pick up on all these names, go do your own research. If you want to debunk us, whatever your case may be,
or add to it,
whichever angle. We ain't just gonna go negative, but make sure you tag us in either way so we can do what we do. You feel
algorithm?
Yeah, all day long. So let's see. So we got the later imperial spread. So basically, this is saying is, all right. So I got that Louisiana education. I break it down for the people who ain't been here before. So check it out. What we're showing right now is that people who are being labeled by a certain term then get exiled and go other places. This term followed them though, but then it changes in definition and meaning depending on where they go. So it's a reason why when they got to America way later, they use some of these same terms. People think that's American terms in history when it's not. It's not even African history. Got nothing to do with them either.
Or they equated to English.
Right. You see what I'm saying? And it's nowhere near the sort. That's why we got to understand the origins. They chose these specific terms for a reason, and because of the legal standing that came behind them and the history tied to it. So it's important that we understand that when we do our genealogy, when we try to connect it to the history, and even way back then, they was trying to figure out how to influence politics. Yet in today's time, we think it don't matter. And on the federal level, I give you that. All right, it's debatable. But on the state and local level, bro, there's no question that what they are doing is for a reason. They want to give you terms. They give you these Latin words you never heard of that it's hard for us to even pronounce. We ain't no Latin experts, bro. We just know how to read the sources because the information is out there. So.
And look what you got on screen. You got you got their spread, right? Rome, Sicily, Africa, Asia Minor. But I like the part Gaul and Hispania.
Yeah.
Which gets us to the El Negros of Gaul and Hispania. Hispania being Spain. Spain was set up by anyone that does research by Ferdinand El Negro Nunez, 850 AD. Ferdinand El Negro Nunez is setting up Spain. He's the Count of Castile because he's Castilian at this time. Ferdinand El Negro Nunez. His father's name is something Razora. He was tasked with protecting, giving a lot of the monies for Spain to the Church of St. James.
Okay.
Which we know Portugal and the Order of Santiago is the protectors of the way of St. James.
Right.
So just to say Gaul and Portugal was up there, we know that Yahia El Negro and them set up Portugal, which would be west of Ferdinand, which is his cousin by 200 and something years.
Yeah.
They're attached bloodlines, but it's showing you that Gaul and Hispania, which would have been Lusitania or whatever, end up being Portugal and Spain, was set up by El Negros who were hitting Jews through that last 1,000 years.
They was exiled.
Of exile. Yeah. Now I'm gonna end with this. Look it. Pull up this one book so everybody can get this one quote.
All right, what you got?
It's A New Voyage to Italy. This is by Mission Maximilius. He's traveling through he's a Huguenot, and he's caught up in the Edict of Nantes type thing. Yep. And he's writing his memoirs as he goes about, and he's giving a travel guide for Huguenots of France of where to go, because they got to go. You understand? He wrote 2 or 3 books. He wrote 2 or 3 books. Go to page 139.
All right, hold on.
So he's writing his.
Let me take it down while I load it. It's gonna go faster.
All right. He's writing his travels, or you could put black in the search box and it'll come up on the side. But he's mapping his travels in the 1600s. It's popping in around 1660, 1670 for the Huguenots of France, and he's giving them a guide to the world. On his mission, he goes to Portugal, he goes to Spain, he goes to Morocco, he goes to different areas. This particular Portugal, I want you to see who he says is in Portugal in 1650. Who is the class of people that he's seen, and what is the popular consensus of the people that he left? When he left, they thought that all the Jews in the world were black. He went on to say, no, I can tell you and point out who is who, where is where. And why is he telling that in his guide? Because those Huguenots and those Frenches that are caught up in the Edict of Nantes with King Louis XIII or whatever Louis did it, whatever. We sip on that King Louis XIII in the hood?
Yeah.
Long story short, and
it's pulling up slow to the page, but what I'm gonna do is, for the people in the chat, I'm gonna post a link to the book. It's in archive.gov, so you can get it for free, but it's gonna load slow. It takes forever to move to a page, but just so they know, ain't no cap. This is the book. They can easily come in here and read it.
All right, hold up. Let me get the.
And that's another thing too, for y'all who may be new to the research, archives.org, you can come here and search a lot of historical documents and see them for free. And it'll show you, it'll look just like, look old as hell. You can tell they got it scanned in, and you can come read the information. It's because people be asking us, well, how can we? Somebody on TikTok said, why y'all able to see all this hidden information that we can't see? It ain't hidden, bro. You just ain't looking for the shit.
Okay, I'm gonna paraphrase this quote.
Go ahead.
They got the book. His quote is basically, he says it's a vulgar error to attest that all Jews are black. That this is only true of the Portuguese Jews who marry amongst themselves, and therefore the swarthiness of their complexion is entailed upon their race. He's explaining that to the French people that y'all got a misconception that all Jews are black. I'm gonna show you that the Portuguese Jew. No, this he's saying this is 100% true over here in Portugal where I stopped by. Later on the same page, y'all will read he makes a distinction between some lighter Jews of Germany and some darker people of Germany. So
there's two different groups in Germany. So that's what people gotta understand. In Germany, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah, basically. So in that time, he says now the Jews of Germany are not darker than their non-Jewish brethren. So what that mean? Okay,
They're mixing with people that's not of the same situation. If you look at what we just traced and how long people been going into what today Europe, you know?
Yeah. And now William the Conqueror brought Jews into what? England and
Normandy,
Germany.
from Normandy into England, right? Exactly.
Yeah. He brought the crew with him, bang bang. So we got to understand that this Huguenot Maximilian mission. He's given a guide to people who have dealt with the Negro race, and he's saying, "Oh no, this is only true of Portugal." And later on in the book, he explains most of Italy is black women, and they're damn near separate from the men. And so his books is real. Y'all need to read his 2 or 3 books. I read them all. And he explains that the Portuguese Jews were black. Now, any historian will just go to Portugal in the 1650s and say, who's the top banking Jews that are black? Because they all black. Because he said they were all black. And you take that family just 300 years and you'll see the easiest trail to the banking system of the Sephardic Jews who lost that power in 1492 in the Al-Hamad decree, backed by some Khazarian hats. Let's call it some Sephardic hats versus Khazarian hats. 1492 is the cumulation of two banking systems about to go like this. One got to get rid of the other banking system. And now the Khazarian banking system gets the Queen of England under the banking power.
Yep.
And what she do? Get rid of his rival, his teacher. The Sephardic people taught them. This came with William the Conqueror all through Europe and Portugal. So in 1492, it is the Negri, Jewish, Black Jews, Yahia El Negro family who set up Portugal as their safe haven. Remember, who went into slavery first? I'm going to land with this. They say Africans sold Africans into slavery. No.
They did.
I'm going to say this. Watch this. Initially, Africans sold banished Negro Jews.
Right. The niggas from Portugal.
From Portugal.
Yeah.
And Spain
yeah.
into slavery. Okay.
That's what they did.
I'm gonna repeat that. 1492, Al-Hamid Decree. What does she say? Get out of Spain. All Jews must go. 60 days, you must go. She knows where they're gonna go. They're gonna go where Maximus says they all are. Portugal, the safe haven. They run to Portugal. What does King Emmanuel do to wed her family? He says all Jews gotta leave Portugal.
Yep.
3 years later. Or convert. So now you got a 5-year period of you Negro Jews must leave the whole Iberian Peninsula. They're running into Africa, and the rest of them are running what? Into the Kingdom of Spain, so that they could participate in the banishment, so to speak, and be part of the people that are coming to America. But the Jews always had one thing. The Order Santiago was protecting St. James Way. St. James Way was the way of the pilgrims. People say that was from Jerusalem to the most westernest part of England, which would be Portugal, because it's tip sit out if you're not counting Scotland and Ireland, to Portugal. But the true story is the Order of Santiago, who set up the first 7 cities of Santiago on this side of the world. Portugal was the Negroes that first came on this side of the world and was traveling all over the place. In the 1400s.
Hey, you cooking, bro?
Yeah. I'm in the corner. Waiting. I was in the corner waiting, sniping, baby. I'm hitting this, and that's what leads up to this right here. Before we get out of here tonight, you know what I mean? We're gonna end on this. We might have to do a part 3. We can come back to run it on if they want, as we get more on this El Negro part. But I had to we
can go back to back. You know how it is.
Yeah, you know how that goes. So the requiremento, which is going to be tied to the 1492, Isabella, Ferdinand, all that good stuff, right? That's also going to be tied to what we call I said it earlier, Limpieza de Sangre, because this is the people who passed it. It's the Castile Council who passed that law. You see what I'm saying? That we showed earlier. You know what I mean? Right here, that right there. This right here. It's the people that actually passed it are tied to the same requirement to 1510. All right, I want y'all to understand that. All right, so they're the ones that claimed North America. All right, understand that too. You know what I mean? So, and South America and the Caribbean,
Americas, period.
America, Spain cast. So when we get to what it says here, the requiremento was written in 1510 by the Council of Castile to be read aloud as an ultimatum to conquered Indians in the Americas. It asserted the religious authority of the Roman Catholic Pope over the entire earth and the political authority of Spain over the Americas, except Brazil. Why? Because the Portuguese claimed Brazil before Spain came here. Portugal was already over here, right? So understand that. From 1493, Papal Bull that divided the Western Hemisphere between who? Spain and Portugal, using terms like what? Negro. So it demanded that the conquered people accept Spanish rule and Christian preaching or risk subjugation, enslavement, and death. Often the requiremento was read in Latin to the Indians with no interpreters present or even delivered from the shipboard to an empty beach. Now come down a little bit more. Go to the third paragraph because I want you to see what's already happening in America by 1510. You might have to go back up a little. Is that it?
It's third, say third, and he commanded.
Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, and he commanded. So what's happening in America by this time? You got people that are coming out of the Iberia area that come in here. You got people that are already trading out of West Africa because Christopher Columbus told you in his diaries that, you know, the indigenous people saw and were already trading what we call gold spears with aloe and silver in it. You know what I'm saying? They already, that's documented. We're going to go look it up, all right? So they knew that there was already a trade system taking place in what they call today the Americas, you know what I'm saying? And Columbus, which is working for Spain, Castile, and the, Portuguese knew too. See what I'm saying? Because it's a trade system we're dealing with. You know what I mean? So it's here, it says, and he commanded him to place his seat in Rome as the spot most fitting to rule the world from. But also he permitted him to have seat in Moors. You see, it's in Muslims. Yahudim, because ain't no James at that time. This the English translation, by the way.
Yeah.
It would be
no Jews,
in Latin.
no Jews.
There's no J's. There's no, you know what I mean? So Gentiles, which means any other nation. You know what I'm saying? Any other nation. Period. Gentile means nation, and this is in all other sects. This man was called Pope, and as if to say, Admiral, great father and governor of men. The men who lived in the time obeyed the Saint Peter, and they capping on this. I'm gonna call that cap, by the way. But either way, and it took him for Lord, King, and Superior of the universe. So also they have regarded the others who after him had been elected as pontificate. That'll be other popes that come after him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so has it been continued even till now. That's right, right now. And will continue into the end of when the world
create.
And who tried to disrupt that? Who tried to disrupt that? King James tried to disrupt that.
Yeah,
that's right. He tried to disrupt that.
He said divine rights of king, order of Melchizedek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why he got written the way in history that
he wrote a book.
He was bucking.
He wrote a book. Everybody get it. I don't know the name of it, but his name is King James. Y'all know him.
Yeah. You know his works, nigga.
He wrote a book on divine right of kings. Please read. Please read.
Just put in King James, divine right of kings, it'll come up. I think even Tecumseh did a bill on that, but yeah, definitely check it out.
Facts. Shout out to Tecumseh. We about to do some things. I ain't even gonna say it.
We got a lot coming from the party, man. Hey, so real quick before we get out of here, we had Matt, you got something else on the requirements? Oh, my bad, bro.
No, bro. That's why I want to end, because see, I can keep going. We be here for another hour, and I ain't got time.
Yeah,
so,
easy.
I mean, shout out to the service. I ain't gonna hold y'all like some people be mad at church services and stuff. Our Sunday service,
we gonna get you out of here.
To the time. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do our, you know what I mean, and let y'all do your
thing. We not on CP time. You hear me?
Yeah, that part. Shout out to all my Maroons, all my indigenous people, all my Lucy. Shout out to the Yahudi, you hear me? Gullah, you hear me? All my folks.
Check this out, man. Couple comments real quick. Boy say George Washington great grand was a Huguenot named Marito.
Facts.
Then we got
Huguenots.
Yeah. Shout out Creek Blood. Then we got Chevin Price say Franin El Negro come from the Basque King Arista Ingo from Pamplona.
That's when the Basque
before that Lusitania too.
That's what I was gonna say. That's that 800th flow, Basque Lusitania Amorica.
Mm-hmm.
That he's attaching.
Britannia and everything.
That's part of the puzzle. That's what people got to get. Those pieces of the puzzles. I'm gonna say this. People got to get the pieces of puzzles on what occurred with the Negro population of Europe and how all those Negro populations were using some form of white slave class warrior from 600 AD to 1492. They were all using some white slave. So the Moors, the black Moors were using the Mamelukes. The Byzantines, they were using the Varangis. The Jews were using the Usha. They were all using these white slave class groups that later got together, and by 1492 were in conglomerate. By then, the Mamelukes done got the Moors off their neck and took Egypt. The Varangi then took the Byzantine Empire. And so they started breaking that thing down in the 1300s in the 100-Year War and made it prime for the 1400s for the situation to occur. And people think that they were butt-naked people over here on this side of the world when Portugal was doing their trade, when Carthage was doing their trade. They have you in their Roman spell.
Yeah.
And their Roman spell is their scribes. Their scribes wrote about us through their plays. And the last
propaganda.
And the last play I will give y'all is Dante's Inferno. Dante's Inferno is speaking about the most ancient place on the planet. So when you get into Dante's Inferno, you got to understand that the constellations they speak about, they sit above certain lands. Perseus is above Persia. The bear is above Russia. And the eagle, the great eagle, is above South America. So the eagle land is really South America. It's not Egypt.
Yeah.
And the eagles of Isaiah and the wings of Isaiah spoken about, spread it upon the Milky Way, is the great constellation called Equus, the eagle. Yo, part 2. Let's get it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go crazy with it. We got people, hold on.
Yeah.
So Miss Sherry say Columbus Zarco is Sephardic Jew. Yep. Then,
Ferdinand Zarco was his real name. Ferdinand Zarco, attached to King Henry, who supposedly first one to navigate around Africa.
Then we got shout out to GPGH. He said, damn, I didn't get alert. It happened to us, bro. So make sure, appreciate you catching it. Go back and rewatch it, bro. It's all good. That's why we do it live, so you can catch it again. And then Jerome's Media. I appreciate the support. Rolling Thunder Wolf. Yeah. All that there. Appreciate you. Hey, so Matt, what's up, bro? What you got left for we go ahead and end this off, bro?
Man, I'm like I said, man, because I can go a lot of places. We just be rambling. I want to make sure we do it. We give I like to walk it, and obviously, Nine is our guest. He had to add some extra to see, because we want to show the distinction. Because when we first did the El Negro series in real time, we really were just trying to make sure we could line up the fact that this black man is in Europe, you know what I mean, as we call it, you know what I mean, and he's a Jew, Yahudim, and then we also had to go back to this Roman system we've been tracing. Y'all been watching the series we've been doing now since we came back live now. That the Roman system kept me grounded, and me and Nine, and what we do and how we've been doing over at the party to understand, like, wait, this word is cognomen. You know what I mean? The word cognomen. It's not a surname. It's not a surname. It's this cognomen. Just like Afrikaans is a cognomen. So there's other people that Rome is calling Niger. You see what I'm saying? As we just showed you tonight. You know what I mean? But the first person as we're showing you, and people like Yahya, people like Simon, people like Barnabas, you know what I mean? People like Paul, you know what I mean? These black folk that would be tied to Yahudim in their tribal backgrounds in the time frame of Rome, the Roman edition, El Negro. So I ain't got nothing to act on. You heard me? I'm done. It's a 13-1 on it. You heard me? Yeah.
Hey, so I'm gonna end it like this then. Do this housekeeping real quick. Appreciate everybody with the support.
Go ahead, man.
Sunday. I'm tripping.
We're gonna be here next Sunday. Let them know. Go ahead. We're gonna be here next Sunday.
All right, so we got.
But we be back.
Yeah, we're gonna be on the move, man. We go to the Autonomous Network. We going out of town and do a little business. Record something different for y'all. So be on the lookout for that. So next Sunday service, we won't be here. All right. So hopefully we may have something to drop in this place, but if not, we will be back the following Sunday, and November is going to be crazy. So I'm telling you now, like all our videos, bro, subscribe. If you want to hate and debate, leave it in the comment. It's $1,000 if you want to line it up for a debate. So if you ain't serious about what you saying, don't even come barking around this way. We not entertaining it, bro.
Better have 10 sources per.
Hey, I'm just saying, it got to be serious, because that's what we get with it. Yeah, that's what we get with it. But as far as the content go, we got a whole network appeal. We doing our own thing over here. We got a lot of stuff playing. Shout out to 9 Ether from the party tapping in. Peace to everybody else. Shout out to all our new Patreon members. That's love. We appreciate the super chats, the shares. Even if you hating in the comments, we appreciate that too. It is what it is, bro. Hey, but with that though, we're gonna go ahead and end it off. Until next time, y'all. We gonna see y'all when we see y'all. Y'all keep it positive, keep it pushing. We out of here, man. Peace.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummed me and broke but a pair of races? My lineage free people of color with a left make each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments tried to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Estelusty. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces, the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't let them be called an aborigine.
But the paper said I fit a different role. Stamped and filed in a system so cold. They never asked me, they just told. They call me person, but that ain't who I am. I come from people, from spirit, from land. It's more than a label, it's how they divide. But I know the truth deep down inside. People got power, people got pain. Persons of paper caught up in the game. Don't box me in, steal my name. I'm not just a number, I'm not their shame. People rise up, speak what you know. You're not a person, you're a soul that glows. Oh. Some say it's just words, don't make it deep. But names are spells and the cuts run deep. How they define you, how they bind you. But truth don't sleep, it'll find you. All this legal fiction, built on omission. They rewrote the books and hid opposition. But we're not words, we're not just names. We're breathing proof they can't contain. People got power, people got pain. Persons are paper, caught up in the game. Don't box me in, don't steal my name. I'm not just a number, I'm not their shame. People rise up, speak what you know. You're not a person, you're a soul that glows. No barcode, no chain, no check in the file. I'm walking with grace, I'm walking with style. I'm not a thing in a courtroom slide. I'm the people and I won't be denied.